Good afternoon, ladies. Could someone please just confirm, maybe give me a thumbs up or let me know if you are able to see my screen? If you're able to see the inner piece. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, I want to thank all of you for joining tonight for our interest meeting. I am Joy Allen. I'm the founder of InHER Piece, and I'm so excited to be able to talk to you all tonight about what's going on with the organization, what the organization is, in case you're not familiar with InHER Piece, but also just to give you a heads up on some of the things that we are planning for the incoming year, of course, that being 2024. So again, thank you all so very much for joining. We appreciate your time and hope that we get all of your questions answered. So that being said, please feel free to speak up if you have questions or raise your hand, and I will do my best to watch the chat as well as the participant panel so that I can address you. All right, so let's go ahead and dig in. This is our InHER Piece interest meeting. And so for tonight's discussion, I want to cover just a few things. First and foremost, I'd love to talk about the mission of InHER Piece and just kind of give you an overview of our business structure. This is a question that we get quite often. You know, people want to know, are you a nonprofit? Are you sponsored by a church? Are you sponsored by a larger organization? So I'm going to address all of those questions and explain to you exactly how we are structured and why. We'll also then get into some of our programs and partnerships, just so that you are aware of all the things that InHER Piece is currently doing, as well as the things we are planning to do in the near future. And then, of course, we'll close out with some exciting news about 2024, and any questions that you might have, we will address those as well. So as I always start with almost every presentation, I do really want to just concentrate for a moment on the mission of InHER Piece. And I'm going to read our mission statement because a lot of thought went into this when we started the organization, and this is really what dictates the work that we do every day. InHER Piece empowers women from all walks of life through firearms training and personal protection education without the intimidation of political, gender, or socioeconomic agendas. We utilize business alliances, community outreach, and corporate resources to ensure every woman has access to the tools, education, and information necessary to safely exercise her Second Amendment rights. And as some of you may know, our motto is peace of mind, one round at a time. This is very important to me because the reason we started InHER Piece is really due to that first sentence there. Based on my own personal experience, I found that as a woman, and particularly as a woman of color, almost every class I walked into was intimidating for many reasons. Culturally, it was intimidating. Politically, it was intimidating because, as you all know, the 2A community tends to lean one way politically, and that has never been hidden, probably never will, right? There was gender issues or gender discrimination, in my opinion. Most of the 2A community, as I knew it then, was Caucasian and male. That, of course, is not me, right? Then there were also socioeconomic issues and barriers. I quickly realized the people who need this are typically not the ones in the seat because it is expensive. And so even though Second Amendment is a right afforded to all of us, in order to exercise that amendment, you have to basically live in a certain income bracket. I started doing some marketing research, and I realized the majority of women in this country, especially women of color, do not fit in the income brackets that are necessary for one to actually exercise safely those Second Amendment rights. And so we started InHER Piece basically to set out to contradict some of those challenges and to make sure that this education was available to everyone. And so again, we concentrate as an organization on tools and education related to Second Amendment and also related to just personal everyday protection. And that's why we are here. One of the other things that's very important to us is just making sure that in everything we do, we follow our values. And so we are based on 6 values. These are the pillars of our organization. Our leadership team takes them very seriously, and we expect and ask that all of our members uphold these values as well. Those values are integrity, which basically means we're an organization that's going to do the right thing. We follow the law, we help our community, and we carry ourselves in such a way that is worthy of respect. We believe in community, as I just mentioned. So we're not just a club that keeps to ourselves. We get out and about and we help those who need to be helped. We make sure that we support those that are around us in our communities, and they often will return the favor. Another thing I want to hit on is diversity. One of the misconceptions I believe we had to fight at the beginning of our inception is that people wanted to label us as a Black women's gun club. Truthfully, InHER Piece has never been, ever, and will never be a club only for Black women. Now, we are about 92% African American in terms of our membership, and that's not by accident. There are many, 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 many Black clubs out there now for firearms. Of course, when I first started in 2017, 2016, that was not the case. But here in 2023, there are hundreds, literally, of Black women's gun clubs and Black gun clubs in general. Unfortunately, whenever we begin to segment that much, we cut ourselves off from certain opportunities and education. And that is what InHER Piece strives actually not to do. We want to embrace diversity and we want to welcome everyone. Now, there are also many other gun clubs out there that have been existing for years. They are not against Black members. They're not against African Americans. They're not against Hispanic or Asian members. However, their culture is not inclusive. So, for example, I'm a member of quite a few other gun clubs, and I am the single African American female in quite a few of them, not because they're not open to having those members, but the culture is not conducive. They lean very directly into one arena or area politically. There are socioeconomic barriers that are in place. There are ideologies that are in place. And sometimes there's an ignorance of history and even just social norms that might interfere. And we wanted to offer a safe place for all women to come. And so we do open our arms and embrace women from any background, regardless of what they look like, regardless of how much education they may or may not have, regardless of how much money they may or may not have. So again, diversity is pivotal for us. Another one of our values is confidence. As I always say, this is really not about a gun. This is about building confidence. The gun is just a tool. Our goal is to really instill confidence in one another to the point that we all know and understand that we are worthy to be defended. We are worth fighting for. And particularly if you are from minority communities, you know and understand, especially as a woman, that everything around you will tell you that you are less than. We are fighting that tooth and nail every single day and using the firearms and the education as a tool to do so. So confidence is very, very important to us. Of course, safety as well. Everything we do has to be safe. We take it very, very seriously. This is why anyone who stands in front of a group for InHER Piece or offers a training course, anyone who speaks on behalf of this organization is trained, they are educated, they are safe, they are insured, and they understand how to make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to do without any liability or without any issue with health, injury, and so forth. So safety is very, very important. And then lastly is innovation. We do not try at all to do anything like anybody else. In fact, we embrace that trailblazing mentality that says, hey, we are revolutionaries that are going to change the way the Second Amendment looks. We are changing the face of the Second Amendment, and we're changing the way that education is offered. So we embrace challenges. We embrace the new. We really want to make, some impact on the culture and ensure that just as many people understand the First Amendment rights work for everybody. Second Amendment should be exactly the same, and we will do whatever it takes legally and safely to ensure that that message is spread. So just to give you a little bit of history of when we started the InHER Piece organization, we asked ourselves all of those basic English questions that you used to ask or be asked when you were in elementary school and read a passage, right? They would ask you about the 5 W's and the H, the who, what, when, where, why, and the how. So basically, who started InHER Piece? Myself and a small group of women who decided, hey, let's approach some of these gun ranges. Let's figure out, what we can do in order to bring some ladies together. Now, truth be told, when we first started, we were only looking for one training meeting. We expected about 20 ladies. We did not expect this to turn into a gun club by any means. We were just looking for a ladies' shooting day. And, we quickly understood, based on the 68 women who showed up for that first meeting, that there is a need that needs to be filled. So over time, the players have changed in terms of those who sit sort of at the top of the organization, but we are definitely pushing forward, just trying to fulfill that mission of ensuring every woman has access to those tools and education so that she can safely exercise her Second Amendment rights. And once again, we are here for women, by women, and that is for all women, anyone who is willing and desiring to join us. What do we offer? Access. We offer access to some of the best education that's out there. Part of the reason that I believe in being credentialed, that I challenge instructors to go out and get 100 hours of training every year, is because I have sat in seats that I would not want my sisters to have to sit in. It's my job, as well as some of these other ladies who have locked arms with me, to go out here and take these trainings and get this education so that we can bring it back to communities where it's most needed, so that we can bring it back to our sisters. So access is pivotal. We're creating those relationships. We're building those partnerships to make sure that, we'll call her Deborah. I don't know who Deborah is, but if her name is Deborah, Deborah may not know who a Tom Givens is. Deborah may not know who a Tom Hearn is, but if Joy has been there and taken those classes and gotten those certifications, now she can share that experience and even maybe introduce Deborah to a Tom Hearn, someone that she normally would not have had access to or even known about. And so that's what this is really about. It's networking to grant access and education. It's also about community. Our community, especially our young people, need to see strong women who are confident in themselves and who say, hey, I'm going to demand every opportunity I have to exercise my rights. And so that is the what of this organization. When? Well, we started in July of 2020, or at least that's when we kicked off our first meeting. Truthfully, this was already on paper and kind of taking form as early as April of that year, and we officially kicked off in July. Currently, InHER Piece is mainly in North Carolina. That's where we started, and we kicked off our chapter program just over a year ago. And we are now expanding into the national platform. So we've taken that first step by opening up our e-chapter, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And then we've got some things happening in 2024 to help us expand that national footprint. The why, I've already talked about, mainly diversity and safety. And here, I'm not just talking about gun safety, but I'm talking about the safety that each of us needs to have and feel when we go into a space to learn. We need to feel safe. We need to feel confident. We don't need to feel threatened or uncomfortable just because our political views may be different, our skin color may be different, our gender may be different. We want to have safe spaces where we can learn and, again, exercise those rights. How do we do it? Number one is passion. Everyone on our team is a volunteer, myself included. Nobody gets paid for this. We do it because we love it. We do it because we love people. The other way we do this is through business alliances. Many of you know we've partnered with the USCCA. We've also have some partnerships with 511 and others. We work with businesses so that we can get the resources that others need and get that, whether it's at a discount or a special, some other type of special privilege kicks in. We want to work with our business alliances, again, to make things available to the ladies. Community partnership as well as corporate resources are also a part of that plan. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later as well. So let's talk now just a little bit about how we're organized. And I know this isn't the most riveting information, but we get the question a lot, so I'll go ahead and address it, right? InHER Piece currently is not a nonprofit organization. We are a limited liability company, an LLC, and we will potentially become a 501c3 organization in the future. This is something that our leadership team has been contemplating and thinking about. It will frankly depend on our footprint, how quickly we grow, and whether or not we feel that that is something that is required and needed in order for us to move forward and benefit the most ladies. But for now, we are a limited liability company with 100% volunteer staff, as I mentioned. It is funded, the organization is funded by my personal firearms training company, E3 Personal Defense. Of course, we also get grants from other organizations, sponsorships such as the USCCA, who sponsored our gay gala that just took place. So we still work with our partners as well. But for the most part, outside of our membership fees and some of our online sales, E3 Personal Defense actually funds InHER Piece for now. And hopefully in the future, as we expand, the organization will begin to fund itself, at which time we might look at becoming a nonprofit. So more to come there. We'll see kind of how that goes. We do have complete branding ownership, which is very important. If you own a business, you understand why. So InHER Piece, our name, all of our mottos, all of our images and so forth are completely owned by the organization and trademarked. So we are protected. We have our own intellectual property, which includes all the training programs that we write and so forth. And that is huge, especially for an organization that is only 3 years old. So we're extremely proud of that. In addition to the fact that we are debt-free, and we continue to operate that way so that we have the freedom and the leverage to continue to grow and serve the ladies that are a part of this organization. Honestly, to do that, we need a great team. So as I mentioned to you, we started in 2020 and different ladies have contributed to this organization. It took us a while to sort of normalize, if you will, but we now have a steady and consistent executive leadership team that's been in place for over a year. These ladies are amazing that I work with. So again, as I mentioned, I'm Joy Allen. I think I know a few of you. Some of you might be new on the line. I am the founder and operate over the training and education portion of our organization. Miss Yolanda Barksdale is amazing. She works in civil rights activities all day, every day, even on her day job. So she knows what's going on, boots on the ground. She's an amazing young lady, and she operates our public relations department. So, you know, many of you might have seen press releases or seen stories that have been written up. We've been featured in quite a few periodicals, quite a few videos, just all over. And she is responsible for that, as well as making sure that our press is positive, as it should be. LaTanya Bufford is also amazing. You've probably seen her if you are local, for sure. She is over our programs and events. So she was pivotal in helping us to plan the gala, and helping us to go out to the farm as we did last summer and raise money there for Heritage Farms, which is a Black-owned business and farmland that's been in the family for hundreds of years. We were able to go out and do a range day and help raise money for them. All types of special events of that sort she oversees. And then we have Deandra Clark, who is also just, all of these ladies are outstanding. Deandra heads up our community and culture. So she helps with all of our community outreach. And if you have a chance to look at our website and go to that events page, you'll see all of the community outreach things that we've supported. It's amazing. We've done everything from collecting school supplies for our local schools, oh my goodness, to collecting diapers for single mothers, to supporting the women's shelter, just all types of amazing things. And so I work with these ladies to kind of keep the organization afloat and to make sure that we are doing everything again in a respectful way, really uplifting those values and representing the ladies of InHER Piece well. Some of our programs and partnerships, many of these you may be familiar with, but I'll run through them quickly. First and foremost is our Facebook community. So we do have a free and open Facebook community on Facebook, clearly. It is basically a discussion group where ladies do need to fill in a form in order to apply. So every person who is in the group has been vetted. Every person who is in the group has attested that they are at least 18 years old, that they are a female, and they are legally able to handle firearms. This keeps our group safe so that we can have, you know, safe discussion. And also people can feel a little bit more vulnerable to ask the questions that they intend to ask. We do share some limited information, of course, in the Facebook group, but not enough that people would not want to be a member, if you will. So there's a very, you know, clear marketing strategy there. But our community does have hundreds of ladies across the country who are interested in firearms training and self-defense as well. So they are a part of that group. And again, it's free to join. If you go to Facebook and to groups and just search for InHER Piece, you will see the group there and fill out that form if you're not a member, and you can certainly get in. We also have our membership program, which is fairly new. It's just over a year old as well. Our membership program is excellent because it's only $50 a year. $50 a year gets every person who is what we call now a VIP member. It gets them access to monthly meetings. It also gets them swag, it gets them opportunities for some selective calls. It also gives opportunity for training. There's all types of benefits for just $50 a year. That $50 a year, I'm often asked about because I just mentioned to you that right now, InHER Piece is covered in terms of cost by another company, meaning we don't make enough money to cover our business expenses. So I'm often asked, why $50? There are other clubs out here that are charging $150 that do way less. Why don't you do that? Remember our mission. We want education to be available to everyone without socioeconomic strains. And so we will do all that we can to continue keeping membership costs low so that anyone who truly desires to be a part is able to do so. We never want money to be an issue or a barrier. And so that is the reason that we are still at $50. We're looking at some other options that I'll talk about here in just a moment, but we always intend to keep our membership costs as low as possible. In addition to those chapter meetings, all of our members, regardless of their locale, also have access to our national e-chapter. We do have some members who are not local to us at all. As I mentioned, they're in different parts of the country. They've basically signed up and joined our e-chapter, which meets virtually at least once a month for, again, training, challenges, videos, encouragement, so forth and so on. In addition to that, under our membership program, we have our pistol qualification program, which was launched a year ago. This is a progressive course of fire that helps ladies from the very beginning, soup to nuts. So for those who have picked up a firearm for the very first time, this program allows them to step by step, skill by skill, turn into marksmen and earn basically badges or awards for each step along the way. So it's a great program. We'll be revamping that just a little bit for 2024, but we've had quite a few ladies that have earned badges for achieving certain levels in the program, and it's been an amazing opportunity. Here in the middle of the screen, you'll see some of our partner discounts. So as I mentioned to you, we do like to partner with businesses, again, to make things accessible to our members. So we currently have partnerships, including product discounts with Freedom Ears, 511 Tactical in Durham, North Carolina, and Culpeper Creative. And we are looking to expand that program to bring in more partners as well. We host special events, such as a recent gala that we just had 2 weeks ago. It was beautiful. We've had range days that we sponsored and things of that sort. So special events are always on our radar, as well as community outreach that I've already spoken of. And then lastly, our Peace of Mind program, which is also available to members. Our Peace of Mind program currently offers 5 certified USCCA courses free of charge. Each of those are basically valued anywhere from $80 to $100, but our members get access to those free of charge, and we will be expanding that program to include more courses in the year to come. So that's one of the biggest benefits. So again, as I mentioned, we want training to be available to all of the ladies, regardless of how much money you do or don't have. And so by having this USCCA partnership and this Peace of Mind program in place, this really allows our VIP members to save a lot of money. If you take advantage of that program off the top, you're saving at least $500 for a one-time annual fee of $50. So, do the math, and that's a great deal. And that's part of what we do in order to fulfill our mission. So let's talk quickly now about what's next in 2024, because we've got a lot of great stuff planned. In terms of training, that pistol qualification program I talked to you about, we're going to be updating that just a little bit. The purpose will remain the same. We will still look to coach ladies through that progressive course of fire as they desire, although every member is required to pass at least the first level. And we do that mainly for safety, but also so that our insurance, we don't have to use it. We want to make sure that everyone is safe and that everyone understands at least the basic marksmanship. And once you pass that first level, we know that. Many of our ladies progress through the program because they enjoy the challenge. They love to learn one skill at a time, practice it, and then come and test, if you will, to earn that next badge. So it's a nice little thing to brag about and have your picture taken and just celebrate one another. As I mentioned, we're also going to be expanding our POM, our Peace of Mind program, to include additional courses. And I'm really, really excited about the last bullet there under training. I have started writing a certified coach program, which will be available only to instructors that are a part of InHER Piece. Now, this program it's trailblazing because it will actually certify instructors specifically to teach women from vulnerable populations, including diversity, that whole concept of dealing with people from diverse backgrounds. It's going to be a pivotal program. There's nothing else out there currently like it. It will also include business practice, which again is not very common when you go to take a course. They're either going to teach you how to shoot or they're going to teach you how to teach people to shoot, but they don't teach you how to build a business and how to run one successfully. So this certified coach program will come with a designation. It will come with lots of perks and benefits. I won't get into all the secrets now, but certainly want everyone to keep their eyes open because it does involve some wonderful training that would otherwise be extremely expensive, but it's going to really equip our instructors to be some of the best in the country and to be able to offer some expertise that others just don't have access to. So we're really, really excited about that. There are many contributors to this program and looking forward to rolling that out probably around mid-year of 2024. So keep an eye out. Some other things to expect: targeted program expansion. So we have recognized that there are instructors out there who maybe are not associated with the chapter. Maybe they are somewhere in Minnesota. There's no chapter in place, but this instructor is certified and says, hey, I really want to be a part of InHER Piece. I really want to grow my business, and I'd like to take advantage of some of the benefits that InHER Piece has in order to do so. For those of you who may not know, when we started InHER Piece, there were only 2 women of color in the Raleigh area who were instructors. By the end of our first year, we produced 14 from within InHER Piece alone, 14. That is amazing. That changes culture because that's now 14 people that my daughter could go and take training from that looked like her, and it did not exist prior. So we want to continue providing that type of support to other instructors around the country, and our affiliate program will allow them to do that even if they don't have a chapter associated with them. In the same manner, we are also going to be opening up an affiliate chapter program. There are existing gun clubs out there, and one of the challenges that some of these existing gun clubs have is that they're kind of operating as an island, but in order for them to plug in with an organization, they have to become that organization's club. So for example, let's say that I have a girls like to shoot club, right? If I want to become a part of, and I'm going to make something up because I don't want to call anybody out, but let's say I want to become a part of the National Girl Shoot Club, I would actually have to give up my oversight of that club in order to become a part of the larger national organization. We recognize that's a challenge because there are lots of ladies, as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, who have gone out and started successful gun clubs, but they just struggle with the organization. They struggle with understanding how to run club meetings or how to deal with the administration. Maybe they struggle with the insurance coverage. Maybe they struggle with developing progressive programs, or they want to add credence to their organization. Our affiliate chapter program will allow them to maintain their own identity, but plug into the InHER Piece network and the InHER Piece community. So more to come on both of these. We're still fleshing out and vetting out the details, but this is going to be amazing for us because it will expand our network while allowing us to help someone else to do the same. So I'm really, really excited about those things as well. Expanding our membership options. This is another category we're looking at in the new year. One of the things that we have seen, and this is absolutely expected, right? When we started InHER Piece, we saw crazy growth for the first year. It was just absolutely insane. At the end of the first year, I believe we had about 300 active members. Today, we are down to about 115 active members. And people's, membership expires, they fall off, but we are still getting a steady influx of new members so that we stay steady around that 115, 120 members, which is something that we expect. But as we matriculate through time, one of the things we recognize is that in 2020, when we started, almost everybody was new to this. Now we are starting to see some very experienced shooters coming out of our organization. And so one of the things that the executive leadership team will be looking at early in the year is developing a tiered membership program. We will continue to have the membership that we now know as VIP, although we may name it something else, we'll see. But we're going to be looking at some more advanced options in terms of membership tiers, one of them being or including a shooting league. So the ability to actually travel with a national InHER Piece team, not only to compete if a person desires to do that, but also to go to nationally recognized events, nationally recognized shooting events, as well as presentations, maybe even, national meetings, things of that sort. So there are some of us who are a little more of an enthusiast type role, if you will, take things a little bit more seriously, maybe shoot a little bit better, like the advanced stuff, as opposed to simply self-defense. And we want to give that option. That option would, of course, include some increased membership fees, but large benefits, such as the ability to be able to travel and take world-renowned training as a group. So more coming there. Again, very, very excited. We will not be taking anything away from our existing membership, but we will be adding additional perks and benefits to higher tiers for those who might be interested. And then, of course, we will have ambassador options as well. We are looking for ladies who want to represent InHER Piece in exchange for benefits, such as perhaps covering a membership or, perhaps having that backing of InHER Piece. We'll look at what that looks like, but we are certainly looking for ambassador options in the new year as well. And then, of course, last but not least, under our corporate considerations, we are continuing to expand and look for industry partners. While we certainly have some corporate partners now, we will be concentrating more on products and services. We would like to be sponsored by, for example, a gun manufacturer, whether that is a Glock or a Staccato or, a Taurus or a Canic. We want to look to actually be sponsored and partner with an actual manufacturer. So we'll be reaching out to do that. And we'll also be looking for service partners. In this case, those advanced trainers. There are some awesome gun schools out there, such as a Gun Sight or a Range Master. There are some awesome schools out here, and we would love to partner with some of those to, again, bridge that gap and allow access for our ladies for something a little bit more advanced in terms of education. And then, of course, as I mentioned, range and program tours. There are some nationally recognized ranges out here that we certainly want to partner with so that our ladies can have perhaps an annual retreat, an annual convention, whatever you want to call it, where we actually go to some of these places and shoot. So that is something that we are looking at as well. In the meantime, of course, we are still here. If you are not a member yet and you want to join, we certainly welcome you to look at InHER Piece, and please do consider it. Our Facebook group, as I mentioned, is open to all. You do not have to be a member to visit us on Facebook and join that private discussion group. And whenever you're ready to join us, please go to InHERPiece.com. Membership is $50 for the year. You can join any chapter, but keep in mind that we are open in terms of attendance. And what that means is you can actually attend any chapter meeting anywhere in the country there is one, as long as you're an InHER Piece member. So when you sign up, you'll pick your home chapter, if you will, but that does not restrict you. You are able to join all of our e-chapter meetings, as well as, again, any other meeting in the country where we might have a hosted event. That is an overview of InHER Piece and where we are. I want to just open the floor for any questions or comments that you might have. Any questions, comments, or thoughts?
I actually have a question. How often are you said the meetings are monthly, is that correct?
That is correct. Meetings are monthly per chapter. So each chapter has at least a monthly meeting, and they have those monthly meetings at least 8 times a year. So that gives our, chapter leaders a chance to take a break, or we can work around holidays and things of that sort.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you're right now, let's see, if you're like if you are in Durham, for example, and you're kind of between Raleigh and Fayetteville, you could take advantage of 3 meetings a month if you wanted to, because we do stagger them. And so that gives everybody a little bit of flexibility in terms of where they might attend or what they might listen into.
Okay.
Great question. Any others?
I have a question about the virtual chapter.
Yes,
So if
ma'am.
you join the virtual chapter, you'll just be a member of the virtual chapter. And if you are in town, like in Raleigh or Fayetteville or somewhere, then you can just go to one of those meetings.
That's exactly correct. Yes. And hopefully we'll have some other chapters popping up here soon that you can join as well if you're in the area.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, or anything that I didn't cover that you'd like to ask as well?
I have another question. Sorry.
No,
Um,
no.
as far as firearms, if you're interested in purchasing your first firearms arm, is there help or assistance with that being a member?
That is an amazing question. So one of the biggest benefits of being a member is really the camaraderie and the networking. So InHER Piece does offer some training through our Peace of Mind program. However, we also have our instructor network, and you actually don't have to be a member to access that. If you go to our website and click on the training and education link, you will see a list of all of our affiliate instructors. So right now, all those instructors are local for the most part to North Carolina. I think we have a couple that are outside. And our affiliate program, as we expand, we will add other instructors. And that's where you would go to take your formal training classes. So I'm glad you asked that question, because people do sometimes confuse a gun club with an education organization. And so we are a gun club. We do offer training and classes, but if you're looking for that formal one-on-one, those standardized courses outside of the ones we offer through POM, you want to connect with one of those instructors. Now, that being said, if there is not an instructor in your area, please call us, because we do still have a network of instructors that we know, and we will send you to someone, preferably a woman, who is professional and who will treat you with respect, so you don't have to kind of guess if you're going to a good class or not. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, thanks.
Perfect.
As far as, and then I do have one more question. I'm sorry.
Oh,
As
no,
far
don't
as
apologize.
the actual purchasing of the actual firearm, being a member, do we have any access to any discounts for that, or is there a recommended vendor for us to purchase from?
We are still working on the discount piece. That goes to, you know, us wanting to partner with some businesses, manufacturers, et cetera. So we're still working on that. But we do certainly have preferred vendors and stores that we work with. Typically, what will happen is if you come to a meeting and one of the instructors is available, or if you reach out to one of the instructors, we will do an assessment. And that assessment determines basically the purpose that you're going to be using the handgun for. You know, we might have you try a few so you can tell us what you like and what you don't like. And then we're going to narrow your choices down to about 2 or 3 options. Once we have it narrowed down to those 2 or 3 options, all of us are more than willing to tell you the best places to go in order to obtain those firearms. So you definitely will have the guidance and, you know, the mentorship there so that you don't buy anything you might regret.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had one more question. So in addition to just the monthly regular meetings, how often are like the trainings? Are those like monthly as well, or are those on a different schedule?
They are on a slightly different schedule. We try to do them right now about once a quarter. We schedule them based on demand. So we did have, you know, sort of a busy time here, maybe about 6 months ago, where we had a lot of ladies to join. So we offered them almost back to back. So we kind of gauge that based on demand and how many ladies need to take the courses. But it's always at least once a quarter, and we'll do it more often as needed.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome. And right now there are 5 courses. I can't remember if I said that, but there are 5 courses within the program. And so basically we would rotate them, and, you know, we'll offer all 5. So we try to do it within a 30 to 45 day period each cycle. And then we'll, you know, schedule the next cycle when we start to have some activity or feel that we have enough ladies to go through it again.
Okay, that's good to know, because excuse me, sorry, because I have my concealed carry. Like I took the course and whatnot, like probably like last couple years or whatnot. So, but I just, haven't had the chance to actually like do like more like training, just, just your basic stuff. Cause I mean, that's one of the reasons why I just wanted to do something like this in the first place, so I can become educated, so I can be safe and just, learn how to handle a firearm. Because just full transparency, I'm, still kind of hesitant and still kind of scared of them. So, the best way to, face a fear like that is, it's like, face it head on and, just dive in. So that's what I was just wondering, like, if there were like trainings more often than not. So.
Absolutely. And one of the other advantages, I don't know if I stress this enough, but all of our chapters are led by certified instructors. So in order to be a chapter leader, our chapter leaders must have certification. They must have insurance, although the organization is also insured, and they must pass a shooting qualification as well as an interview. The reason we do that is we want to make sure that if you are at a chapter meeting, the person running that meeting is an instructor that can answer your questions and someone that can offer you courses. So if you have time in a meeting, our meetings are usually 2 hours. That's not necessarily enough time once a month to really give you the skills that you need. But you would be able to go to your chapter leader and say, hey, for your business, when are you teaching this class so that I can come and take the class? And then in addition to that, there's a requirement that all of our meetings have RSOs or range safety officers on duty to make sure everything is safe as well. So education, as I mentioned, is pivotal, and we do want to make sure that everyone receives that safely.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good, man. Makes me feel better.
Good. We want you to be comfortable and confident for sure.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts or questions, ladies? If not, I thank you so very much for your time this evening. If you have any questions that come up later, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email me directly, actually, at info@inherpiece.com, or just go to our website. You'll be able to contact us there. I look forward to meeting those of you whom I've not met yet. And I just thank you again for your time. You all be safe and have a wonderful and blessed evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Joy.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.